Hey guys, Ollie's big picture here. Right now on my way to Xinjiang from Shanghai, all the way in the west to Hotan. Together to meet there with three of my friends, and I want to show you in this video our experience in Hotan. We went to many different sightseeings like a handcrafted silk museum, a handcrafted carpet museum, how they make paper, and many more. Here you see like the silk handcraft museum, what was beautiful inside. They built everything new, but they don't speak any English there. Like if you want to go there, you definitely would need someone who translate for you, or you take it with a tour guide. It was beautiful, and we were directly received by those nice kind ladies at the entrance who directly, without making any appointment, just arriving, took us basically to show how it is made. They showed us the processes step by step, how those silk in this area was made and manufactured, how they do it in the process, how they, here you can see, prepare them for the painting, like they put this little plastic wraps there where the paint should not go, so later on it gonna look like this. And here you see how in the handcraft way they do this process of painting it with natural colors. They were displaying and showing directly here. It looks, in my opinion, totally beautiful, and it was super cool to see, just to go, no entrance fee. They just welcomed us at the entrance and were ready to go to show us around. Very nice, humble people. And then in the next step, they showed us also here how they still manufacture some of those silk by hand, the very old, the very traditional way with those machines. It was super interesting to see. After checking out the handcrafted silk museum, we also went to another kinda like handcrafted museum for the different kind of papers they use. Like here it was like a small, still like very old manufacturer of paper. You could see the different steps of how they make the paper from the trees, and then how they process it and how they dry it in the sun. And afterwards we also went to something what was for us very funny to see, like little Sanya they called it. Like we had some language barrier with our taxi driver, and we asked him, show us something super interesting, something that we definitely should see while we are here in Hotan. And then he showed us like this botanical garden, because he thought it's something interesting. It was like for the families and the kids to relax and to have some nice environment, to have some food and to sit down and let the kids play. And yeah, as I said, they called it, like you see here on the stone, Little Sanya. Little Sanya. Sanya is a major tourist city on Hainan, one of the like biggest islands of China for tourists traveling and for like beach and summer holidays. And they recreated this in the middle of Xinjiang, and they had a huge outside area where the kids could play, and they had many different like let's say playground kind of like activities for them, where the families and the kids could enjoy their weekend together. After so much sightseeing, we had to get some food. We found a super nice fancy restaurant about Xinjiang local food. They had a lot of different like roasted meat, like barbecue. And later in my further videos, check it out in the description, I will tell you more about the food. Here you can see something. We asked our taxi driver to bring us to the Old Town. But the Old Town, you can see, is built quite new. So it's like a huge theme park. What we thought, we want to see like the old city center of Hotan, but he took us to the replica, to the newly built like old town, how it was supposed to look like in the past. And this thing was massive. It was a huge area, like you can see here, probably I would call it like castle in the middle of this area. It was like a small Disneyland basically, or Universal Studios, but almost empty. You can see, and I will go on into describing this more in my further videos, how they invested a lot of money, how they put a lot of money down for the different local activities and a lot of different tourists, like probably like domestic tourism from China to Xinjiang. And here you can see the same. They built like a newly old city, super beautiful, but quite empty. I think COVID gave them a pretty big hit as well. But it was super crazy to see how much they built up the city, how much they made new to welcome tourists. And they have this beautiful, like this is a restaurant inside. I think it's also quite made for the tourists. I didn't see many locals go there, but it was super nice to see how probably this culture looked in the past and how they also try to preserve it. Of course, mainly probably for tourism reason. And the next day we went to the desert because we wanted to see a really old city, not these replicas. We want to see the real old cities, how they looked in the past, and just to see like the ruins of it and how it was built. But unfortunately we could not enter. It was for us not too allowed to enter the site, and they said we are the first foreigners in the past 4 or 5 years who came to this place just to check it out. And here you can see like the gate. Behind the gate is an old city, like you can see still like a little bit in the center structure of the city, but we were not allowed to enter. And then we went just to the museum. Like you can see, they have a huge museum where they tell you about the history and about the story of Hotan and the different Silk Roads and the different like historical pattern, but only in the museum. And the big hustle was there was a lot of sand all the time. Like there was a sandstorm. We had all the time a lot of sand in our nose stuck. And here we visit like a factory for carpets. They also have like a very famous history of making carpets. And this was like also handcraft, kind of like museum, kind of like still like running production for carpets. And you could see here and watch the workers how in the traditional handcraft way they make this kind of carpets. Later in another video, I put the link down below, we also visited another carpet museum in Turpan in Tudofan, and this is how the carpets, the handcrafted carpets look. We also asked for different prices. We asked in the other video, a friend even bought some of the carpets, and they are very, very cheap. They are a fraction of the price. What would you pay for a handcrafted like carpet probably in Europe and the US? So when you want to buy something, they also ship it to your home. It's not a big deal. Definitely worth to check it out. And after, of course, we had to eat again. I will show you in the other video more about the food, tell you more about the food. In my opinion, as a German, the food is amazing and the whole culture is definitely worth to check out and worth to experience. However, I am, to be honest, not a big fan of Hotan in Xinjiang because the city is quite not there yet and prepared for tourists in a way that it's convenient. And when we were there, it was sandstorm all 3 days. You can see here the lady when I left on the train station just taking care of the sand. It was just too much sand. My nose was always plugged and stuck with dirt and sand. Maybe we were just unlucky with the timing. And the next day we went to a very famous bazaar, a very famous Sunday market to see all the local food and everything what they sell there. Definitely check out the next video. I put it for you in the subscription, and we're gonna take a tour around the market for you with you together.